Baba, when he comes, he gives us many gifts. And the most important gift he gives us, the first gift he gives us is knowledge. And knowledge makes our intellect divine. Knowledge is called the third eye. And we get a divine intellect when Baba's knowledge is absorbed into our intellect. And our intellect is through which we see everything. So when our intellect becomes divine, when we absorb Baba's knowledge into our intellect, then we start seeing everything very differently. And the way we see everything is responsible for our reactions and our behaviors towards them. Because you see, it is not what is happening, but it is what I think is happening is the basis for my response. So when I start seeing differently, I start responding differently to the same scenes and situations. And not just the intellect, not just sees everything, but the intellect also discerns right, wrong, good, bad, makes decisions about what to do, what not to do. And when the intellect is knowledgeful, then your decisions and your discernments about what is what, they also start changing. So Baba gives us this divine intellect. And today Baba says that this divine intellect is like a civil eye that Baba gives us. And these two eyes are criminal, because you see, when we come to Baba, we bring our old sanskars with us, don't we? We bring our Kalyugi impure sanskars with us. And those sanskars change over a long period of time. New sanskars are not a gift. They are a product of effort. Your sanskar doesn't become divine when you come to Baba. But the gift is knowledge. Baba gives you the knowledge. And when we keep creating knowledgeful actions, then the sanskars change over a long period of time. But until then, the sanskars are the same. Yes, only the intellect is different. And this is why, because the sanskars are old and impure, the vision, the two eyes, the physical eyes or the physical organs, they are under the influence of old sanskars. Even the mind is under the influence of old sanskars, is it not? And because the old sanskar is that of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, so what do these two eyes see instantly? They see bodies, they see gender, they see everything, because that's the sanskar. We are taught to look at these things. Yes, we are conditioned to look at these things. And because that is our conditioning, so lust is our sanskar, anger is our sanskar, ego is our sanskar. So through the filter of those sanskars, these eyes see, these ears hear, and all the organs of the body are functioning. Even the mind, you see, the feelings, without effort, the feelings are not pure, or without effort, the thoughts are not elevated, because everything is under the influence of sanskars, and sanskars take a long time to change, and only when there is effort is it ever possible, because even if you give it a long time, it changes only when there is effort. So in this scenario, everything, you see, if your old sanskar is the sanskar of being lazy, then your body will always pull you down. So your intellect will say you have to do seva, you have to get up at Amrit Vela, but your body pulls you down, because the body and the organs of the body and the sense organs and the mind, they are all subservient to sanskars. Now Baba says that these two eyes, they see according to the sanskar. So if the sanskar is to see bodies, if the sanskar is that of lust, then you will see bodies and you will have lustful feelings. And if the sanskar is also to see defects in others, or if the sanskar is to see what can go wrong in a situation, then you start seeing what is wrong or what is the defect, because these two eyes are completely under the influence of the sanskars. Now, how do we change our sanskar? By changing our actions. How do we change our actions when the actions are dictated by sanskars? So this is why it becomes a vicious cycle, yes? Because the sanskars dictate the actions, and then the actions reinforce the sanskar. But when Baba comes, he gives us this beautiful gift of the divine intellect. And when you are in awareness, when you keep your third eye open, when you are in awareness of the knowledge that Baba has given you, then you choose different actions. And slowly, if you are able to sustain choosing different actions, so because you see, any action repeated over a long period of time becomes a sanskar. So when you keep your divine intellect functional and keep your third eye open, then what happens is you continuously choose a different response or a different action which is in alignment with truth, the knowledge that Baba gives us. And when we keep doing this, then over a period of time, our sanskars change to true sanskars or divine sanskars. Right? But so do you understand the importance of the intellect? So the divine intellect is a very important gift that Baba gives us. Now if we don't understand the importance of this gift, then what do? We don't nourish it, nurture it. And you see, the divine intellect is like a small baby, because it's a new gift that Baba gives us. And it has to be protected and nurtured. Now, how do you nurture the divine intellect? You nurture it through churning knowledge and having yoga with Baba. So the divine intellect gets strength or nourishment, just like a small baby needs nourishment and it needs protection. So you have to give that nourishment and protection to the divine intellect. And the first nourishment that you give is listening to the Murli, and then churning on what Baba gives you as the truth or the true knowledge, because the true knowledge nourishes the divine intellect. And in the world, what is there? It is all false belief systems that make you, day by day deteriorate. So when you listen to the Murli very carefully, and when you churn on what Baba is saying, and sometimes I'll tell you, these days I make these shorts which are 1 minute long, and that is the seva for new souls, right? So those who have not done the course or anything, so for them we make these. And it becomes a challenge to think about something that is in alignment with knowledge and the old belief systems. Because you see, if you say something which is completely different from their old belief systems, they don't connect with it. So I find it very difficult to find that point where it is a point of knowledge also, and they find something to connect with their old belief system. Because in my experience, you see, knowledge is light and the world believes, what the world believes is total darkness. So it becomes very difficult to find that fine balance when we make those shots. I find this challenge. So you see that whatever Baba tells you is very different from what the world tells you. Whether it is about the soul, whether it is about God, whether it is about karma, whether it is about journey, whether it is about making choices, everything is so different when you compare it to what the world teaches you. And this is why Baba says that my teachings, my knowledge, or the truth is so different from the falsehood that you need to churn over this continuously. Because if you don't churn over it, it doesn't sit in your intellect. Yes, you see, we have grown up so strongly with this belief system that the soul is made up of vices. You see, science says that survival is your instinct and you're competitive, and killing and contesting and leaving, pushing the other person behind and going ahead is your natural trait. Psychology says lust and ego are natural to you. So I'm not even talking about what we have been doing, but even what we have been studying or learning, or the knowledge that is given in the world is also so different from the truth. And Baba tells us that you, the soul, are pure, peaceful, loveful, blissful, powerful, and nothing more or less than that. And Baba says there is no trace of vice in you in your original state. So lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed are not your sanskars. But it takes a long time for that to settle in, because you see, our intellects are all corroded right now, because our intellects have absorbed all the parmat in the world. Now, Baba tells us that you have to nurture your intellect, nourish your intellect by churning over the truth. And then you have to sit in remembrance of the ocean of truth, so that your intellect gets nourishment. And then you also need to protect your intellect. Yes, and how do you protect it? So first thing is you protect it from parmat. So if you're reading, things of the old world, especially philosophy that's given in the old world, whether it is scriptures, whether it is other kinds of philosophical things, or you're just listening to other people giving their opinions in situations, that is all coming from parmat. So you have to listen but not listen. Yes, so you will live in the world and there'll be a lot of things that you come across, but you have to not read anything and you have to listen but not listen. And then Baba says that whatever you see, hear, try to, just take care that it is not content of the old world, because they all start influencing your intellect. Yes, you hear a class about, you hear a 1 hour session about, how love is your original nature, and you're born to be loving rather than, seek love. But then you watch a movie and then everything, all the knowledge goes down the drain, and then what you think is love has to come from outside, and everybody is getting it from outside, only not me. And then you start questioning knowledge also. Because you see, whatever you hear, it messes up with your purity of your intellect. And Baba says that when you hold this knowledge in your intellect and when you keep your intellect divine, then you will be able to perform actions which uplift you, which make you a devta. And otherwise, you will listen to knowledge, but you will engage in actions which make you not divine. So, and before I proceed, I will also like to share something else with you about the intellect and about karma that Baba tells us. So you see that Baba, when he comes, he tells us that when you do a karma, you bear the consequence of it. Yes, you do karma, whether it is thought, word, act, whether it is a karma of body, mind, or body, mind, or wealth. Whatever karma you do, you bear the consequence of it. And it doesn't matter whether that karma was forced on you, whether you did it under influence, whether you did it because you didn't know something, doesn't matter. Even if you were unaware, you did the karma, so you will bear the responsibility. And there is another thing in the world which people tell about karma, which is you do what you feel like doing. Yes, people say you should do what you feel like doing, but the thing is, are your feelings on your side? Are your feelings helping you progress? Or is your mind your enemy right now? Yes, so if you look at it, your mind, we say man is dushman right now. So the mind is on the devilish side. The mind is playing games with the sanskars. So mind is on the side of our old sanskars. So our feelings are very deceptive. So if you act on the basis of your feelings, then you are like digging a grave for yourself. And I will tell you why my attention went to this aspect is there's a brother and he is into Gyan, and he stopped eating, food from outside, and he stopped eating food prepared by others, and he started eating, food prepared in the remembrance of Baba, and he started cooking himself. Now, some days back, you see, his son came to the center, and he started telling me that it is not okay that my father is doing this. So I said, why is it not okay? So he said, because you see, you might be thinking that he's not struggling inside, but he's struggling a lot inside, because he has never controlled his senses, never has he cooked. So both the things are a big challenge for him, and he is having a lot of struggle and difficulty inside. And he said, I think no spirituality teaches you to, to stifle your senses. And you should not do anything which is against your feelings and your mind. So when you're feeling like eating from outside, why not? When you're feeling like not cooking, why not? So he said, if my father is not feeling like it, then he should not choose it because a path says it. So then I told him that, you see, from from where you are coming, I understand what you're trying to say. But let me just tell you that karma is an energy that you create, and karma has consequences. Yes? And karma is not done on the basis of what you feel like doing, or not on the basis of what other people tell you to do. Karma is done on the basis of your aim of what result you want to have. So because karma is related to result, and we here understand that you should do karma which gives you the result that you want. So if your father wants the result to be a deity, he has to eat pure food. And if he doesn't want to be a deity, no problem, he can eat whatever he wants to. But that is even what he wants to be is a choice for him. But if he wants to be a deity, then he has to choose this, because the result that you want dictates the karma you have to engage in. You cannot blind yourself by saying that I will not do any elevated karma and become a deity, right? And the second thing is that this whole belief system that you should do karma based on feelings is not true, because your feelings are deceptive and they are not guiding you on the direction in which you want the result. So karma is something that you do very meticulously, and in Hindi we say soch samajh kar karma karo. Yes, always think before you act. We don't say be guided by your feelings. Why don't we say that? Because it is not okay to be guided by your feelings when you choose actions, because actions have consequences. And you should be guided by your intellect, not your feelings. You should be guided by understanding and knowledge when you do karma, not by feelings which are under the influence of old sanskars. So Baba gives us the intellect. And you see, if you don't have a divine intellect, when you don't have knowledge, then what is the basis of karma that you do? It is either feelings which come from old sanskars, or it is some parmat or human dictates which are dictating those karma. And because of that, we have suffered so much by choosing whatever we have chosen to do. Now Baba tells us that when you keep your divine intellect functional, when you keep your divine intellect so active, so nourished, so protected, then your intellect will make you make the right choices, right? And your intellect is the basis of everything: seeing, decision making, discernment, everything. Now you see, Baba says that when you have the divine intellect and you see through the divine intellect, what do you see? You see that you are a soul, you are not a body, and everybody else is a soul. They have bodies, they are not bodies. So where does your vision rest? Your vision rests on the soul, not on the body. And then you don't have criminal eyes, because the eyes that see bodies, that vision invokes lust. But when you start seeing souls, you become, that lust is not invoked. And Baba says, I give you this divine vision which sees souls, and you are protected from the criminal eye. And Baba tells us that in Satyug, people will not have parda. You see, in all cultures almost, there is a system of parda. In Hinduism, there is ghungat. Yes, and in Islam, there is parda, and I'm sure in other religions also, in some way or the other, they must be observing something. But Baba tells that in Satyug and Treta Yug there is no parda. So Sri Lakshmi wouldn't be wearing a veil. Sri Lakshmi wouldn't be wearing a ghungat. Why? Because you win over the criminal eye now. And just think about how much damage this criminal eye is doing to the society. And Baba says that now, in order to have civil eyes, you have to keep your third eye open and you have to start seeing souls, not bodies. Yes. And I remember, there's this one sister, she told me a very beautiful experience. She said that, Didi, I had this sanskar of watching stuff. So she said, I watched a lot of OTT and this and that. But when I came into Gyan, I started practicing that I am a soul and these are my eyes. And I see only that which I want to see. And she said that usually at night, she said after 10, I start binge watching. So at night, whenever this thought came that I must watch something and I'm not sleepy, then I started telling myself, I started seeing myself that I'm this resplendent point of light sitting behind the eyes and I'm very powerful. And this eyes is just mere, eyes. And they are not that powerful, they are not pulling me. And I sat in the awareness of my powerful form and my master form, that I am the Malik of this body. And she said I had to do this consciously for around 20-25 days. And after that, I did not even have the thought to watch something. And in those 20-25 days, I started a practicing of reading something at night, Baba's books at night, and then I started having this practice of remembering Baba, and that sanskar changed. So you see that if you start using your divine intellect, if you start seeing so you see, when your eyes pull you or when your tongue pulls you, what do you say? I'm feeling like eating, I'm feeling like watching, I'm feeling like hearing, I can't control myself. If you create these weak thoughts, these thoughts create your destiny. But if you use your divine intellect and you tell yourself, who is the master, I or the body? So I am the master. But how will you be able to say this? When you're feeding the divine intellect through the day, when your intellect is busy churning knowledge and remembering Baba, then your intellect will have the power to to overcome the pull of the sanskars. So your intellect will be functional and you will be able to tell yourself, who am I, instead of telling what's going on there. So why do you tell yourself the story that your sense organs are pulling you? Yes, and people see somebody and they say, oh wow, that person is so attractive, that person is so attractive. But is that knowledge? Knowledge is, it's just a body made of 5 elements, and that too tamo pradhan elements. What is attractive about that body? But when will your intellect be able to tell you that it's not attractive, it's just a soul and the body is made of 5 tamo pradhan elements? What is attractive about that body? So the intellect will be able to intervene when you're feeding the divine intellect all day. Otherwise, you see, the old sanskars will overpower. So this is something that Baba says. And then Baba tells us that you have the gift of the intellect and you have to renounce the world through the intellect. You don't have to leave one home and go and build a home in a jungle and stay there. That's not the kind of renunciation you have to have. You have to renounce everything through the intellect. And you see, when you see something which is very attractive, then automatically your attention is drawn to that, and then everything else fades away before that thing. Now you see, Baba is called Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Yes, Baba is called the most beautiful, the most attractive one. And you can only see Baba, you can only see Satyug. Baba tells us that Satyug is the biggest wonder of the world. Yes, so there is no piece of creation in this world, old world, which can stand any ground before Satyug. Yes, but we find this whole world attractive, or it pulls our buddhi, or the people in the world pull our buddhi, because we don't use the divine intellect. And when we start using the divine intellect, and when we start seeing Baba and Satyug, then our intellect is all automatically drawn away from this old world. You will live there, but you will not find anything attractive or worth focusing on or worth thinking about in this old world. Because this old world is very faded. It's very, it has no essence. You know, it has no attraction in itself, because it is tamo pradhan. But because our intellects are not divine, and we only see what we see through the eyes, so we are pulled towards this old world. But once you start seeing Baba, and you start using your intellect to see your Sato Pradhan form in Satyug, or you start seeing the Prakriti, the nature and the condition of the world in Satyug through your divine intellect, then you will not want to see anything of this old world. And you will be here, but you will always be focused on the beautiful world that's waiting for you. And Baba says that this is the way to have renunciation. Renunciation is not running away, because the law says if you run away from something, it runs after you. So only when you have disinterest, only when you have unlimited disinterest, that is, it is there but it is not attractive for you, can you be renunciates. Because if it is attracting you and you're running away from it, you cannot run away very far. It will run after you and catch you. But if you don't find it attractive, because your intellect is focused on the most attractive Baba and the attractive world that's waiting for you, then you start having unlimited disinterest, which is you are living in the world but nothing of this world interests you or attracts you, and you are only interested in creating the new world that is attracting you. Because you see, when you love the new world, you are interested in creating it also. So this is something that Baba says. Om Shanti.